Why do we still struggle despite deep devotion? Can the blessings of Amitabha truly be accessed through simple faith? Welcome back to the channel. Today we explore one of the most revered and mystical teachings in Pure Land Buddhism, the path of total surrender through the threefold principles: faith, aspiration, and practice. This path, often encapsulated in the phrase entrusting one's life to Amitabha, is more than a religious doctrine. It is a living, breathing method of liberation, rooted in grace and deep personal transformation. In this video, we will explore what it really means to entrust your life to Amitabha, not in a passive or superstitious sense, but as a conscious, courageous act of surrender. We will examine how true faith dismantles ego, how sincere aspiration reshapes our karmic destiny, and how consistent practice becomes a bridge between this world and the Pure Land. Along the way, we will uncover stories of transformation, doubt, devotion, and awakening. Let's begin with the heart of this path, the vow of Amitabha Buddha. In his 18th vow, Amitabha promises to receive any being who sincerely calls his name, even if only 10 times, with faith and desire for rebirth in the Pure Land. This promise is not a metaphor. It is an open gate, and yet many find it difficult to fully step through. Why? Because surrender requires trust. And trust is terrifying. It asks us to admit that we are not in control, that our efforts, while important, are not the final word, that there is a power beyond self-discipline, beyond moral perfection, beyond intellectual understanding. Faith, in this context, is not blind belief. It is the direct recognition that we cannot free ourselves alone. It is the heart's cry for help, not as weakness, but as sacred honesty. Let's follow the story of Mai, a woman who practiced many forms of Buddhism, Vipassana, Zen, Tibetan mantra. She was deeply sincere, but also deeply anxious. Every time she fell short of her ideals, she felt unworthy. Then one day, she read the words of a Pure Land master: "Even if your faith is weak, if you truly wish to be saved, Amitabha will receive you." Mai began to chant the name not as performance, but as refuge. Namo Amitabha became her breath. Her anxiety softened, not because she became perfect, but because she stopped trying to be. Let's move into the second pillar, aspiration. True aspiration is not just wishing, it is a deep, unwavering longing to be reborn in the Pure Land, not to escape this life, but to attain a realm where awakening is assured. It's a longing that arises not from fear, but from love, from the recognition that in the Pure Land, we can continue our path surrounded by enlightened beings, free from delusion, doubt, and distraction. Aspiration is powerful because it reshapes the karmic stream. In traditional Buddhist cosmology, rebirth is conditioned by mental patterns and deep inclinations. When our heart consistently leans toward Amitabha, toward the Pure Land, our destiny follows that direction. Just as water flows where the land inclines, our future flows where our aspiration rests. Take the story of an old farmer named Tenzin. Illiterate and poor, he lived a simple life, chanting the name of Amitabha each night. When asked if he wanted rebirth in the Pure Land, he smiled and said, "I have nothing here worth clinging to, and everything there worth living for." That simple aspiration, clear, quiet, constant, was enough. When he passed away, his face was radiant. The villagers said it looked like he had fallen asleep in joy. Practice is the third pillar. Chanting in Namo Amitabha is not merely repetition, it is alignment. Each time the name is uttered with sincerity, it cuts through delusion. It reminds us that we are not alone. It returns us to refuge. And most importantly, it builds a bridge, a karmic link between our consciousness and Amitabha Shiva. There is a deep mystery in the name. According to many masters, the name is not just a sound. It is Amitabha himself. When you recite it, you are invoking not a distant deity, but the living presence of awakened compassion. And that presence responds not because of your eloquence, but because of your sincerity. There is a saying, if your heart turns even once toward Amitabha, his gaze has never left you. This is the essence of Pure Land faith, not about deserving, but about daring to trust, daring to believe that grace is real, that help is near, that awakening is not earned, but given, and only when we are finally willing to receive. When you truly surrender to Amitabha not as a concept, but as a living presence, you discover a peace that is beyond understanding. It is the peace of no longer being alone. The peace of knowing that your flaws, your doubts, your struggles do not disqualify you. They are precisely the reason the vow exists. Master Shantao, a great Pure Land teacher, once said, "The power of Amitabha vow is like the sun. Even if the blind cannot see it, they are still warmed by it." This is the heart of this path. Your faith does not need to be perfect. Your chanting does not need to be eloquent. You simply need to turn your heart, even if just slightly. Amitabha does the rest. This is not passive spirituality. It is the most courageous form of practice, trusting something bigger than your ego, giving up control, and opening to grace. A story is told of a dying monk who had chanted Amitabha's name for years. On his deathbed, someone asked him, "What do you feel now?" He replied, "I feel nothing but gratitude. Not for what I did, but for who waited for me all this time." And with a smile, he passed. That is the destination of this path, not just a realm, but a reunion. A return to the arms of infinite light. And now, I ask you, have you ever experienced the quiet power of surrender? Have you ever felt held by something beyond your own effort? What does Amitabha's name mean to you? And if you've struggled with faith, what helped you trust again? Please share your story in the comments. This channel exists not just for teaching, but for community, for shared devotion, for honest encounters with the sacred. If this message opened something in your heart, please support the channel, like this video, subscribe for more wisdom teachings, turn on notifications so you never miss another doorway into awakening. Thank you for watching this video. May your faith deepen, to your aspiration steady, and your practice become a bridge to the boundless love of Amitabha. And may you always remember you are never far from grace.